VGLI. What it is, it's a comprehensive life insurance program that's going to be offered to you and your family thereafter service. Okay, thereafter service. Well, you had SGLI. Now you have within up to 1 year to be able to apply for it, and 120 days of being released out of service. Service active duty period of 31 days or more. That is the criteria of service member or active duty for VGLI. All right, veterans, welcome back to the Veteran Learning Center. So now what we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about VGLI. Okay, we comprehensively delve into the SGLI, Service Group Life Insurance, but now we're going to talk about VGLI, okay? What is VGLI? Well, Service Members Group Life Insurance for active duty per se. Now we're talking about Veterans Group Life Insurance. Again, there was some very, very extensive content in the SGLI that actually kind of coincides with the VGLI. So I always recommend looking at the SGLI video as well, because again, a lot of the educational content kind of transitions over into some of this content as well. Just to be on the safe side, I would make sure I understand everything. So veterans, VGLI, what it is, it's a comprehensive life insurance program that's going to be offered to you and your family thereafter service. Okay, thereafter service. In a previous video, we talked about transitioning your SGLI benefits over to VGLI and what are the criteria to be able to do so. Let's peel back some of that information. So first, to be able to be eligible for the VGLI, we need to know what is the criteria. First and foremost, let's kind of put two and two together. You must be a veteran. You must be a veteran, right? So you must be transitioning out of service. First, you had part-time service members group life insurance as a member of the National Guard or Reserve, and you suffered an injury or disability damage to your body or mind, okay, that actually affects your everyday task, okay? But now, what does that exactly mean? So if you're a National Guard or Reservist, this is an option for you, and you have a part-time service members group life insurance, SGLI. So now, what does that mean? You must incur injury during that time. You're going to be eligible for VA, Veterans Group Life Insurance, okay? I don't want to confuse it with any other, but VGLI, okay? You're going to be eligible for that. All right, next, for the obvious, right? Active duty members transitioning out of service who originally had SGLI, now who is eligible for VGLI, that is going to be eligible to you. Well, what is the criteria, right? Well, you must be obviously transitioning out of the military. You must sign up within that time frame of 1 year and 120 days of being released of service, okay? From the active duty period, okay, of 31 days, all right? So I never want to get that confused. So when you are transitioning out of service, you must be getting out of service. When you had SGLI, now you have within up to 1 year to be able to apply for it and 120 days of being released out of service, okay? And service active duty period of 31 days or more. Active duty period of 31 days or more. That is the criteria of service member or active duty for VGLI. But again, you must apply for the benefit within 1 year of discharge and also 120 days of being released from service. All right. What does that exactly mean? We're going to dive into that a little bit later, but again, that's the criteria. Now, you also, for our retirees, if you are going to the ready reserves, the IRR, everyone says the IRR, all right? Now you must be able to be within 1 year or 120 days of assignment of your IRR detail of the branch of service, or to inactive National Guard, NIG. No one really talks about that, but again, inactive duty for training, that is something that entails again, a very vast amount of people, okay? So again, the IRR for majority, right? Majority. So, but with that being said as well, I want you to understand it also includes a very select few group of people. Those who are providing service within the United States Public Health Service who are in active reserve corps, okay? The IRC, okay? So basically, the public health group who are the Public Health Administration, IRC, the Inactive Readiness Group, they are eligible as well. We don't hear much of those, much from them. But if you guys have any questions, please reach out as well. So you guys are eligible as well for the VGLI. Now, with that being said as well, also, if you are retiring, okay, or on the TDRL, basically, you're injured, okay, you're on a temporary disability retirement list or being discharged medically, and you are within 1 year, 120 days of being put on the TDRL, temporary disability retirement list. Those who are transitioning and under that know exactly what that means, okay? Typically, it means you're being medically discharged or something of that fashion, okay? And being forced to retire based upon a disability, all right? So again, that is a criteria of who's covered: veteran, former service members. Veteran, former service members. Now, let's open this thing up. What do you exactly receive for your eligibility? Well, we understand as we continuously convey on how important the life insurance is, not only for the service member, but also for the family. We must understand that you are going to receive benefits that can range from $10,000 all the way up to $500,000 of term life insurance benefits that is offered to your family, okay? Typically, the amount is going to be based upon what you are receiving while in service, okay? It's typically going to be based upon the amount of what you're receiving while in service. But does that mean you only have to remain at a $10,000 coverage point if that's what you elected as an 18-year-old, not understanding what life insurance is? No, it does not. So when you actually leave the military, you actually can sign up for VGLI of that coverage. But guess what? You can actually increase your coverage by $25,000 every 5 years up to $500,000 until you're 60 years old. So your mistakes that was made in service of not getting the correct coverage does not transition over to the real world, okay, to the real world. So that is a very, very huge factor, okay? That is a very, very huge factor. Now, understanding that, I want you to make sure that you also understand that BGLI is, again, a very, very good program, an amazing program for veterans, okay, because now you're able to get your coverage transitioning out. And now there's also other privatized companies that can actually provide you the coverage as well. You don't necessarily have to go through VGLI, but again, they have partnered organizations, privatized organizations that will be able to provide you that coverage as well. Okay, for me, I would more or less be deemable to go with the direct government program, just due to the fact we understand that life insurance companies are being demolished on a regular basis, or not even life insurance, just insurance programs just in general. So one moment your life insurance company can be in business, the next not. Okay, so we want to look something a little bit more secure for our veterans. So I would recommend particularly the government, but I'm sure there's other privatized companies that have other offerings that could, that can be more attractive. So again, it's all up to your risk appetite. I want to talk about benefits of this actual program. And how do you get it? How do you get it? How are you able to get the VGLI when transitioning out of service? I know many, many service members are only focused on one thing when getting out, right? Of what's next. What's next? That is the ultimate question of when most service members get out. Most service members may have an established plan, but I can tell you majority do not. The transition to getting out of service is very difficult, mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. So now, how can you make a transition at least be somewhat of ease? Let's make sure that our families are protected with our life insurance. So you're able to get these benefits, okay, with several different ways. You're able to obviously fill out a form that is going to be able to provide you this coverage, and the form is the SGLI form, okay? I'm sorry, the SGLV form, 8714. And again, that is going to be attached in the educational documents below, so please make sure you're able to download that form to take a look. The second way is, again, a proponent of being able to fill it out online, okay? Fill it out online. Again, that website will be below as well, which includes all the other websites that's going to be, again, in place for you as well. But when we're talking about this documentation and the benefits, you want to be very cautious of the iniquities. We mentioned the criteria of when are you eligible to go ahead and sign up for the VGLI, but now let's talk about the nuances. So if you're signing up for your VGLI, again, transitioning your $500,000 policy, up to $500,000 policy of SGLI to VGLI, well, if you do it within a 240-day time frame, there is no medical examination statements or documentation needed to be provided. Within a 240-day time frame, that is 8 months. I think 8 months is enough time to be able to get that documentation in, okay? It is not a lot of documentation due to the fact the majority of your information is already had. So therefore, please make sure you get this documentation in. There is nothing more upsetting that a veteran is coming to us who has gotten out of service, retired, and stating, yeah, I've been out of service last year when you're 245-day marker. Well, you're still eligible, but let's hope you don't have any medical ailments that can be disqualified. So you have 240 days that can be able to where there's no medical statements, examinations, or anything of that nature to be in good health. Okay. Now you have after 240-day period, you must be able to provide evidence of good health, providing this documentation. Well, let's understand what is the good evidence. What is good evidence of good health? Well, most organizations, they will provide good health as a medical examination. Okay. Well, you're a service member that has transitioned out of service, that has had regular annual checkups on a regular basis, which we hope, but however, we understand that that doesn't really happen within the DOD consistently, but they try as much as possible. They're doing a better job, but however, it doesn't happen that consistently. Well, now that information is then going to be transposed with yourself. Just like everything else within the government, everything is going to be contracted. So the contracted insurance company is going to be Prudential, who's going to be able to provide you with the documentation and also the coverage and insurance and policy information that you're going to need. So with that being said, once you're after 240 days and you need to provide evidence of good health, evidence of good health is going to be a medical statement. The evidence of good health is going to be a qualified medical statement. And what is a qualified medical statement? There's a questionnaire of questions that in relation to your good health that is then on the form or the website that you'll be providing and filling out as well. With most privatized organizations, there are typically a medical examination that is going to accompany that. Well, since you are transitioning out of service, though it is outside of 240 days, well, you don't have to provide that. You are going to be required to go ahead and fill out the medical statement. Well, veterans, I want to be cautious you to be very truthful on this, as truthful as you can be on your medical statement, because you don't want to have any disqualifying factors. However, there is not needing any evidence to be provided thereafter, just the statement, okay, the questionnaire statement. So That is 240 days and thereafter. Up to 1 year. Let's never forget, up to 1 year. Now, how much are you going to pay for your VGLI? Well, everything is a subject to, again, age and other qualifying factors. Well, we're very particular. They're very particular within the SGLI, right? Doing active duty servicemen, doing active duty, right? So you're already, that's coming out your check. That's coming out your LES on a regular basis, right? Just like your BH, just like your BAQ, just like any your well now 401k, right? Benefits or any other allotments that you've set in place. You've always set in place with finance on your command. Or online. So again, if you set up your allotments, you know on your LES that it's already going to be coming out. Again, no one really pays attention to it. But typically it's a $500,000 rate, and that $500,000 rate is going to be subject to about, again, $30, $40, something of that nature. But when we're talking about VGLI, it can be arranged because it's based upon age and thereafter service. It's going to be based upon age, okay, and the amount of coverage. So obviously, it's a vast range. It can range from $5 all the way to $2,500. Okay, but there's a vast range, and it is particularly based upon age, and also not only based upon age, but also based upon the amount of coverage. So whatever amount of coverage that you are going to be provided. It's going to be the coinciding price point of it, how much it's going to cost you. But one caveat, one great huge caveat, the amount of coverage can be taken out of your VA disability benefits that is going to be that's going to be compensated to you. So you may not even see it, worry about it, put it on autopilot, because guess what? Unfortunately, as a service member, as a veteran, and as a proponent to provide nothing but service to our veterans. I'm here to serve and here to make sure that we protect and not allow these privatized organizations to prey on our community. Well, there's been so many privatized organizations and so many veterans that unfortunately have life insurance that has lapsed and that has passed away. And these are our brothers and sisters in arms who we are deployed with, who we see in Facebook, and we were just with those people. We just had a conversation reminiscing about old times, but now you see a GoFundMe page up because unfortunately their life insurance coverage lapsed, or they did not transition their SGLI benefits over to their VGLI benefits, and now their family is having a very difficult time because that transition out of service, they may have had a hard time getting a job because they couldn't convey their service and their deployments to skills that can be used in the real world, civilian sector. They may have not completed school because they were going through mental health ailments and actually had to drop out and get medical attention. And unfortunately, they may not been able to keep up with the policy. So let's help our brothers and sisters in arms and really provide this information. I never want to see a veteran have to struggle, let alone a veteran's family have to struggle during their time of need. So please pass this information along. Even if you use it or don't use it, worst case scenario, educate the next veteran. I serve you, you serve others, we serve our community together. So until next time, Veteran Learning Center, you guys have been awesome. Let's continue to learn, let's continue to grow, and let's continue to serve us. With that, till next time, guys. See you in the next video.